This video is in addition to the previous PBL video and will cover the applications of pNpN, pJpJ, and VF. So firstly, pNpN is actually a pure opposite sort of these two corners and these two. So we can actually use this to solve some of the PBLs intuitively. So pNpN is quite useful for V and Y perms. So for V perms, we know that it is the opposite sort of these two corners and these two edges. So if we align the V blocks like this, as if they are pNpN, and we do pNpN, we get edge edge. Likewise, for Y perms, we see that it's actually opposite corners of these two and these two edges. So we hold the corners the same way we hold the isolated corners in pNpN, do pNpN, and we actually get edge edge. So this makes pNpN quite useful for solving any combination of V and Y perms. So for example, in this case, I got Vy. I could solve this by doing pNpN by swapping these two corners and these two. So I will hold the V block as if it was Pn, and I'll hold the corner as if it was Pn as well. And I'll do Pn from here. I get edge edge. So pNpN is quite useful for CPR as well. So for example, this is the X perm. You can see this edge and this corner sticker match, and so do these two. So it's like a checkerboard style here. And this is a Q perm. So the way I recognize is that these two are the same on every side. Or you can recognize that these four colors are always different. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 distinct colors here. So when you do pNpN to both of these, notice how you get a Z perm on top. So that means if you get any combination of X or QX, for example, you can always solve it in pNpN into ZZ. So for example, for this case, this is XQ. So XQ, I can just solve pNpN into ZZ. So that's 3 plus 6 slices, which is 9 slices. So for pJpJ, it's similar to pNpN in that it's a pure sort of corners, however it's adjacent corners this time. So we can also solve some PBLs intuitively with this. So pJpJ can be used to solve T perms. So T perms have this adjacent sort of corners and this opposite sort of edges. So pJpJ can swap the corners, and then you get op, which is the edges. Likewise, for F perms, it's quite similar. It's adjacent sort of corners and an opposite sort of edges, however, in the other direction. So you can do pJpJ, and then you can do op. So this means that any combination of T and F perms can be solved with pJpJ into op. So for example, this is TF. So TF you can solve with pJpJ, and then you know the opposite swap is on the left, right? So let's do a D, and you get op. So one special case with this is FF. So FF can actually be cancelled into side op. So you can do pJpJ, cancel the side op to give you a 6 slice FF case, which is quite useful. So you can do pJpJ, cancel into side op. So for R perms, you can also solve it with pJpJ. However, once you swap the two adjacent corners, you actually get edge edge since these two edges swap with each other. So if you have RL, or basically bad RR, you can do pJpJ into edge edge in the back. So this is actually quite useful when you have even good R's, however the bar is not flipped. So you can actually do pJpJ into edge edge like that. So you don't risk messing up when you have to cancel the bar flip. We can actually solve single E perms with pJpJ as well. So for this E perm, the swap is on the left and right. We can do 1 slice, do a E prime, small E prime, and then pJpJ to swap the two corners in front, then undo the setup moves. So likewise, you can actually do E perm on bottom. So bring these two corners up, and now swap these two, and then undo the setup. So we can use pJpJ as a CP out. So for example, this is good CC. So you can tell it's a C perm because there are no blocks around, and the headlights are non-opposite colors. And then we can tell it's good because this connector block is on the left, so we call it CL. And this connector block, this pseudo block, is on the right, so you call it CR. So in here, we'll just do pJpJ into good U bumps. So if we are to get bad CC, so the blocks are on the left, when you do pJpJ, you actually get bad U bumps. So another example is CP. So this is a C perm top and then a P perm on bottom. So when the P block is on the same side as the C block here, when we do pJpJ, we get good U bumps. And likewise, had we gotten the C block on the left and the P block on the right, so on different sides, you'll get bad U bumps after doing pJpJ. So another way to solve bad CC and bad CP is by using the FF out from earlier. So this bad CC, the block is on the same side, so it's CR. When you do FF, you actually get edge. Same thing, this is bad CP, so we can see this, the blocks on the left, blocks on the right. Doing FF gives us edge. And this actually works for all double C's and all PCs and their mirrors. So it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, you can just do FF into edge. So pJpJ can be used to solve BD. So for this case, notice how we have a B perm on top and a D perm on bottom. So for B perms, for BD, we make sure that both the blocks have the same alignment. So to align the blocks, we have to put them both like this. So when you do pJpJ, you get good U bumps. So in this case, notice how we have the B perms, you have to align the blocks like this and the D like this. So when you do pJpJ, you actually get bad U bumps. You see, we have UL. But one way you can solve this is by solving the CP with TT. And you get edge. So another case that can be solved with pJpJ is MM. So you can tell it's an M perm because there are no blocks around and the headlights are opposite. So just put them in the back, do pJpJ to solve the CP, and you get HH, which is a nice 5 slicer. So you can actually cancel to get a 7 slicer as well. So pJpJ can also be used to set up into a CP case. So this is mainly used for PBLs with a JSON on top and another PL on bottom. So for example, you can do pJpJ into JJ. So to do this, you need to know some extra angles. So firstly, is for a JSON. If you want to set this up into a CP case, you just do pJpJ with the swap in front. You get a J perm. So for S perms, there's also another way you can set up CP. Put the blocks in the back like this, then you pJpJ, and you'll get J perms. For K perms, you also have to put the blocks in the back like this, you pJpJ, and you get N perm. Same with D perms. So D perms, again, put the blocks in the back like this, then you pJpJ, and you'll see we get J perm. So for P perms, we also do put the blocks in the back, but in a way such that this pseudo block, the block that is basically not part of the bar or the block here, like A perms, put this in front. So now the blocks at the back, do pJpJ, and we get J perms. So now the way you apply this is that let's say you have adjacent, then in this case is S. If you have adjacent S, the way you can do this is by doing pJ from here and pJ from here. So you do pJ from here, we know we get a J perm, and pJ from here, we know we get a J perm as well. And then another thing is that I can actually predict the CP that this bar will be preserved, and when you do pJ here, you have to do a D2 to bring these opposite stickers to the front to do pJpJ. To do JJ. So from here we do pJpJ into JJ. So lastly is VF. So VF, their applications are a bit more abstract, but they're still quite useful. So I'll only be covering how to use VF itself. The mirrors you can figure it out by doing FV, and the rest is the same. So first case, this is an F perm on top and a U perm on bottom. So for this case, just hold the bars on the left hand side and then always misalign the F block. So this is where you'll be doing your V perm. Then we can do VF. Notice how this opposite block will stay preserved. So VF, and you can just do JJ. So this block has been preserved. You can just do JJ from here. So for the next case, it's RU. So R perm, the way we do it is we preserve this as our V block. So this is our R block and we pretend it's part of our V block. So it includes the headlight sticker here. So we pretend this is our V, we pretend this the U perm bars are F, the VF. And then we always bring the block to the front because that's where our J block is. This one, just bring the bar to the back and the JJ. So the next case is RV. So firstly, we put the R block the same way we preserve like the V block, same as RU. So we preserve this R block the same way as a V perm, as the V block, like this. And then we put the V block right underneath it. So you hold it something like this. Then you do VF into JJ. So another case, this is AV. So for AV, we put the blocks in the same way as RV. So again, instead we preserve the A block as if it was a V block, and put the V block right underneath it. So hold it like this, do VF, and you'll get JJ. So VF can also be used like a CPL as well. So this case, this is ER. So for ER, let's say if the block was on the back, we'll hold the swap in the front so that it's parallel to it. So then we just do VF to solve the CP, and notice how we get the U perms. So otherwise, this is ER, but the block is on the left, or I guess in the front, this way. So instead of holding the swap in front like this, we hold it on the side. So we do VF now, and we get the U perms. So other than ER, you can use this to solve EG. So in this case, this is EG adjacent. So when the block is on the back, we do the same thing. We hold the swap parallel like this, VF, we get good U perms. Likewise, if the block is on the front, we do the same thing. Put the swap on the left and right, VF, get good U perms. So for EG, where the G perm is opposite, so the opposite block, it's actually the opposite. So if the block is on the back, we hold the swap on the left and right this time. So technically it's still parallel to this. So you can do VF, and we get good U perms. Likewise, if the block is on the front, we hold the swap in front as well. So we do VF into good U perms. VF can also be used to solve CP for double parity cases. This is PN, C. So we treat this as a V block, treat the headlights as an F block, do VF. And we have this adjacent swap on the back and on here. And we just do edge. So PNC is VF into edge. So in this case, it's also double parity. It's X. You can see these two match and these two match. C. So XC, you just do V on top, F on bottom. So from any angle. And we have edge. And lastly, we have SC. So for SC, the way we solve it is we put the headlights on the left again, and we find the block that does not cut the other S block. So example, if you were to preserve this block, notice how it will cut through this other S block. We don't want that. So we preserve this S block instead. And you can also think of it as preserving the block, right? So that you will force an adjacent. So you notice that these two are non-opposite. So you get adjacent here. If we have to preserve it like this, we get opposite here. So when we preserve it like this, so preserve the S block like this, VF, you get edge. So again, same thing, this is SM. So what I can do, we don't want to preserve this block since it cuts the other block like this. Instead, we want to preserve this block instead, so that firstly, it doesn't cut this block, and it also preserves this non-opposite edge here. So you get adjacent, we do VF, you get edge. So VF can also be used to solve SPJ. So for SPJ, what you need to do, we first put the PJ blocks to the left, and after that for the S block, what you need to do is preserve one of the blocks so that it cuts through the other block like this. So basically the opposite way you align it for SC. So notice how when we align this block, this opposite pair is preserved. So when you do VF, you actually force op. So this opposite will be in this position. Just do op, and we're done. So again, this is the different, this SA, just preserve this V block since this block cuts through the other block, and it's opposite, doing VF gives us op. So again, a similar case is SM. So for SM, hold the S blocks the same way you hold it for SPJ like earlier. So like this for this case, and for M, you just put the headlights on the left. When you do VF, you just get op. Again, same thing, hold the S blocks the same way you hold the S blocks in SPJ, and you just do VF, you'll get op. So those are all the applications for pJpJ, pNpN, and VF. So the next video will cover about JR and RR and how to use them.